third edition of the Unnameable Elements? I didn't even know it had editions.
Oh, it's much improved with the index. Please, borrow it if you'd like.
I'd love to. Oh, Rook, you probably wanted to say hi. Thanks, Professor.
You look moved in.
Just a few essentials. Manfred was a great help with the boxes. What a fascinating place this lighthouse is. What do you make of it?
It's great. Big, mysterious, lots of art. Everyone's got their own room.
It'd be easy to fall in love with such a place.
I think Balara has.
She's been quite welcoming. However, I noticed a few of the others taken aback by Manfred, and I overheard remarks about my skulls. My necromancy won't cause any undue worry, will it?
We're still getting used to one another.
True, and yet...
Give it time. We'll settle in.
Please excuse me. Manfred and I should finish our inventory. Thank you for stopping by. By the way, Rook, before I left, Myrna and Vorgoth asked if we could assist with an outbreak of hauntings across Thedas. They also mentioned displaced wisps in the necropolis. I'm not sure what's frightened them, but it bears investigation.
Hauntings and scared wisps? Let's look into it.
Thank you. We'll depart for the necropolis whenever you're ready. I'm sorry, but I find it completely unnatural.
I don't get why you think cremation's so bad. Everyone outside Navarra burns their dead.
All those lost vessels, fine mansions reduced to ash. Manfred, for instance, how would his wisp have fared if I hadn't given it a body?
Where or who'd you get his body from?
There was no single donor. The arms were recovered from a charnel pit. The ribs were a gift from a dear friend. And Manfred's wisp picked out his own skull from some donations. That was quite the day. He's been fine company during my necropolis excursions ever since.
What does Manfred understand exactly?
Simple things, but he grows. Spirits of curiosity are voracious learners. The more he experiences, the more sophisticated his conclusions. With guidance, of course.
If I say, good to meet you, will he get that?
Manfred's alert to the sentiment, certainly. I encountered him as a wisp in the necropolis years ago. A simple spirit, but so curious. He refused to leave my side.
So, you built a skeleton for the spirit to live in?
Spirits are formed from the emotions and desires of people in the mortal realm. Manfred's wisp came from curiosity. It's these spirits which animate the dead. Their drive revives the corpse, yet the corpse colors their actions. Thus, the eternal question, are undead inhuman spirits puppeting a body, or does some shade of the departed return?
Any way I can avoid answering this? Please?
I'm sorry. I'm used to arguing with my colleagues in favor of the soul's return. I swear I could see it sometimes, Rook. A glint of recognition of something more in the dead.
Hey, that's my sleeve. Are you trying to steal my buttons?
As well as a certain mischievousness. Manfred. How thoughtful, Rook. Rook, interested in visiting the Memorial Gardens?
What are you up to?
I must tend to some rites in the necropolis. I'd like to show you its more peaceful side.
Last candle. The vaults should be quiet now. The air grows lighter already.
You'll have to teach me that one, Professor.
Thank you again for coming. My duties include tending to these rites of remembrance. Excellent. Manfred found his way down. Very good, Manfred.
He sounds excited.
I thought we'd start the rites here. A tableau of the dead, commissioned 173 years ago. These lives were flickers against the ages, precious, fragile, and finite. Now they serve as a warning. Don't linger overlong in the gloom. Live with grace and fervor while you may.
It's like being in a very, very specialized museum.
Yes, but the purpose of the tableau...
Wait, did one just move?
That one's livelier. Here. Who were you when you breathed above?
This body was a tailor's, a mother's. She laughed and taught and wove the robes kings wore when they were crowned.
Tja. Someone must realign her thoracic vertebrae. I hope the novices are inspecting the displays.
Seems disrespectful to abandon something you built.
Precisely. No wonder there's been an uptick in hauntings.
Wait, what?
Let's continue.
So, what now?
We light candles in remembrance of the dead. Would you care to light the candle, Rook? Look at this. The last tomb of the Tannhausens. A very influential family in the Storm Age.
We broke the bones of dragons.
A posthumous motto. Their last heir met his match against a Highland Ravager.
Death by dragon. I'm surprised there was enough to bury.
Do you know, I never expected that the door we found back in the Vault of the Beloved would lead here.
So the necropolis actually shuffles its rooms around?
From time to time. Very unlikely to happen while we're inside a chamber. Could you light the next candle? Aha! One of my favorite flowers! A variegated weeping widower.
You know your plants?
Alchemy is my hobby. It's a break from teaching spirit calling and theoretical applied metaphysics.
Right. Just on the side.
This way, Rook.
You were right about the gardens being peaceful.
The necropolis has its dangers, but these places are a...
Examining the graves?
You'll need to light these candles as well. Open your hearts to the final day, companion of all the ages. I was pleasantly surprised by your respect for our undead tableau earlier, Rook. I'm beginning to think people outside Navarra find the necropolis a little unnerving.
The Grey Wardens have some unusual traditions too.
The spirits gather. Only a few more candles. Follow me. Ah, look here.
Hi. Should I say hi?
It's curious about you. We're also enjoying the gardens, but we've one last ritual ahead. On your way, my friend.
Spirits really are your specialty.
I've always had a rapport with them. Even as a child, they were my companions.
After you started training here?
After I was orphaned.
Oh.
A collapsed building, swift deaths. After the funeral, the Watchers took me in.
Belated condolences, if that's worth anything.
Always. We move on, as we must, but those long nights linger about the shadows.
How did you deal with it?
I didn't. When I first arrived here, I was terrified.
And you still joined the Watchers?
They're what saved me. Come, the next set of graves lies ahead. Please, light the next candles if you would. There's much to recommend about the rhythm of a ceremony. It eases our worst hours. As a boy, the Watcher's rituals were exactly what I needed to steady my days with purpose.
And some death magic?
Well, every young mage needs a speciality. All this pageantry, this magnificent gloom and its rites, I ask you, Rook, what is it for?
It's gotta be the living, right?
Yes, exactly, exactly. This place is an abundance of history, of magic, of memories. The Watchers preserve it so the living may draw comfort from those who've gone before. We must get to the candle, please, Manfred.
You told Harding that Manfred used to be a wisp until you gave him a body.
Yes, he's taken so well to it. Haven't you, Manfred? Here are the last candles you'll need to light. Once you're ready, we'll need to ring the bell. Let the rites be acknowledged. Our bonds seen and sealed. We honor the listening spirits.
Hail from the abyss.
We witness, good watcher, faith kept in all our hearts.
What was...
The necropolis hosts many spirits. We thank these guardians for their protection and friendship. We'll need to ring the bell once more to close out the departing ceremony.
So you were really afraid of this place as a child?
It wasn't the necropolis itself, but what was draped around it. Have you ever been frightened by the thought of dying, Rook?
I try not to think much about the big end.
It wasn't a choice for me when I was younger. That's when I discovered I possess a great terror of dying. It goes beyond dread. Can't be reasoned with or soothed over. It comes without warning. In the dead of night, on sunlit streets, a raw, strangling fear struck somewhere deep past the heart.
That's an issue for a necromancer.
Oddly, I discovered I wasn't alone. I debated this fear with friends. I argued with teachers. Yet, it lingered. Manfred's right. That's maudlin enough. There are struggles, but a watcher should always find peace amongst the graves. And what sort of host would I be if we didn't end with some light refreshment?
We're having tea. Here. By the dead.
Tranquility itself. Oh, if you prefer your tea sweet, Manfred loves using the sugar tongs. With all my regards. Oh, but I don't want them to think me homesick.
Hi, Emmrich.
Rook, hello. Just composing a few letters. The other Watchers have been most interested in our adventures.
So, I've heard people call necromancers mortalitasi. What's the difference between them and the Morn Watch?
Oh, all Navaran necromancers are mortalitasi. The Watchers are a special order within them.
Very fancy.
We've certain privileges and attendant responsibilities.
What's the Grand Necropolis like?
Its majesty has stilled the tongues of kings and queens. It's a haven for spirits and the dead, a vast well of history, the duty and shelter of every watcher. We who serve it are pledged to an eternal vigil.
What's the Morn Watch do?
Our first duty is safekeeping the Grand Necropolis and preparing the funerary dead. Another is stopping misuse of dark magic and necromancy.
Must keep you busy.
Not often, but on occasion.
What do Watchers, watch for?
There are stranger and more dangerous things than spirits in the Fade, Rook. The Watchers stand against them when their shadows rise.
Anything lately?
A few portents I cannot put down solely to the chaos of the elven gods, but nothing definitive. Perhaps only shivers in the void.
I couldn't help overhearing the word homesick.
Oh, I'm fine. Completely absorbed in our venture. But if I were home, I'd be preparing for new students or requests to speak to the dead.
Can people just ask you to show up for some corpse whispering?
Oh, nothing official. There are very few of us, but we help here and there. Questioning a victim of murder, clearing up disputed wills, and sometimes fetching back last words from a loved one.
You didn't stop teaching just to be with us, did you?
I'm long overdue for a sabbatical. Besides, do you know how many students the faculty wanted in my class next season? 10! How's one meant to tailor separate lessons for 10 pupils at a time? Honestly.
You can get anything out of the dead and they just let you leave Navarra.
My gift has limitations. The dead only know what they did in life. What was clear under the sun is sometimes blurred when I revive them.
Makes sense.
Honestly, some conversations aren't worth the trouble. Death encourages obstinacy.
Good to chat. I'll let you get back to your letter.
Before you go, I wanted to thank you for your company in the Memorial Gardens. There's another ceremony I have to perform there. If you'd like to visit again. Not yet, but soon.
In the necropolis stuffed full of undead? Again?
Well, there'd be no need for rituals if it weren't full of people.
Dead people.
I'll let you know when it's time.
Hi, Emmrich. You've got a guest.
Ah, Rook. You remember the Hand of Glory?
Hard to forget. You figure out what those Venatori who broke into the necropolis were doing with it?
The Hand is how they broke in. The simpler undead are blind to its bearer when its tapers are lit. Sadly, only a death mage could have provided them with this forbidden necromancy.
If they're helping the Venatori, that has to stop.
Agreed. I've made some inquiries. This man is one of the Death Mage's victims. If he knows where this rogue necromancer is hiding, my corpse whispering will give us the answer.
You can't just get what you need from, I don't know, marks on his body?
How he died isn't the question. It's who held the knife. I'll not allow more victims like this.
Okay, do all the corpse stuff.
I must warn you, it will be harder to coax answers from this poor man than from the dead I spoke to in the necropolis. Let flame rekindle your sight. Let breath and light rise again. Who did this to you?
Eyes hidden, dust and gold.
Give us a name.
They come for this one. The spirits shriek. They come.
A name?
Blackthorn.
Return to your rest.
We've got to stop this. Whoever killed him wasn't gentle.
Wondrous and terrifying are the revelations of the dead.
Did the name he said mean anything?
Blackthorn Manor is an abandoned country house outside Navarra City. Our victim mentioned spirits. If they've also fallen prey to forbidden magic, they'll need our help as well. Let's depart for Blackthorn when you're ready. I'd like to speak to the necromancer behind all this.
So, Blackthorn Manor. Let's hope that necromancer working with the Venatori is around.
There's a malaise amongst the spirits here. Some form of confinement. This must be the place.
Right. So, why do we bring that?
Oh, it's essential we have the Hand of Glory.
I'm just grateful you know what to do with it.
It's a fascinating piece. The magic laid upon a Hand of Glory is complex. Whoever killed its donor left their mark.
So it'll lead us to whoever cut it off?
Precisely. Most likely the necromancer who's been helping the Venatori. It would have taken extraordinary skill to layer the involutions on this artifact. What a waste of talent.
Bet whoever owned that hand agrees with you.
We'll put an end to whatever's happening in this manor. That, I promise. Forbidden necromancy can twist spirits. We must find this death mage and stop whatever they've done to them.
Well, if there's a rogue necromancer here, they forgot to lock the door.
The Hand of Glory's magic points inward to the northeast.
Let's go look.
This place smells weird.
fewer corpses here than there should be.
Where are they?
I suspect the necromancer in this place has already helped themselves to these crypts. They can't be. Necromantic evocation with an inversion in the higher seals. A rogue necromancer has hidden something terrible behind this door.
Can you open it?
The door seals are drawing on magic elsewhere in the manor, fueled by suffering.
Let's put an end to that and get this door open.
The Hand of Glory points to the northeast and southwest. There's something off about the texture of the fade here.
That's never good.
It's been deliberately thinned. The spirits press closer than they should. No! What have they done?
This looks bad.
Sacrifices, both spirit and human.
The demons!
Put him down!
Now what?
I must free the spirit bound here.
Emmrich!
Someone's been harvesting their terror. Their souls! How dare they? What are they Come, I can sense another spirit trapped here in the mansion. Look at the door. Freeing one spirit has already weakened its seals.
Halfway there.
Those candles gonna light up every time we go by?
They should. The real question is whether it's a residual enchantment or if the mana has manifested a personality.
Okay. You think about that. Why'd whoever lived here leave behind their best stuff?
No one knows why the Blackthorns abandoned their manor. Rumor hinted at a family tragedy. A perfect spot for our wayward necromancer to work unnoticed.
Nice one, Tosh.
Just what?
Feels like there's eyes on us.
This section of the house seems displeased to host new guests. Perhaps we've discovered a hint of what drove away the Blackthorns. Another victim.
And demons!
Come forth!
Can you free this one, Emmrich?
I must. Someone's been stealing the life, the essence of people who knew they were facing death. The effects persist, but the door we saw earlier should be unsealed.
Hope that necromancer we're after is behind it.
All the seals have been extinguished. Excellent. Let's open that door. Someone's torn a path into the Fade. It's imperative we find and stop this necromancer from keeping the Fade open.
Okay.
Advance. Onwards. Hand of Glory still points the way. Necromancer has brought once helpless undead into the Fade as soldiers
And a raged demon.
The way won't open until we defeat them.
That's the last of them.
We gonna be fighting more demons and corpse crap at the same time?
Our rogue necromancer knows exactly where we are. Why have they gone to such lengths to drain power from spirits? Down there. More victims.
I don't see that rogue necromancer yet.
I suspect they're nearby. Let's inspect their handiwork.
Late as always, Professor.
It can't be.
But what else would one expect from Navarra's most eminent meddler?
Johanna Hezenkos.
You've met?
Oh, the Professor and I have known each other for ages. But only one of us realized the Watchers are no place for a mage with ambition.
She's just trying to needle you.
Johanna always did make a sport of it.
Resentful prattling from the one left behind.
No. The stolen life in that lantern could permanently tear open the Fade here.
Correct. Only the foolhardy would shed blood near it in this state. So, let the Watchers mourn your pathetic death in the Fade, Emmrich Volkaren. Those that are left after my return.
No. What is she planning?
Emmrich, We okay to fight?
Yes, Johanna took the lantern away with her.
What did Hezenkos do to that spirit?
I'll try freeing it, but I fear the worst. The spirit, its essence, is gone. Johanna's trapped it in her lantern.
Then let's find her. There's no way out.
Vashida, there's always a way out.
Quite right. The Fade always provides a way forward. We only need to search for it.
Then let's get looking. Candle. This wasn't here before.
Oh, let me think. We're in a receptive eddy of the Fade, and since Johanna's spirit summoning has already focused its mana, do you recall the ritual we performed in the Grand Necropolis? Concentrate on that memory.
You mean when we were lighting candles?
Find some more, and we can use them to leave this place.
Here's that last candle.
Excellent. Place them on the pedestals, if you would. We drift upon the echoes. Let them form a new configuration. And with that,
Like I said, always a way out.
we must find Johanna once we're out of here. This rift in the Fade will lie open until we deal with her.
You insufferable nuisances! How did you get out so quickly?
Where's Hezenkos' voice coming from?
The Hand of Glory resonates. It's pointing to the main hall.
Let's go.
I can feel Johanna summoning hostile spirits. That portal into the Fade won't close until we defeat them.
But we still can't attack Hezenkos herself while she's holding that lantern.
The entire countryside would be torn apart.
So you crawled your way out of the Fade.
It's not difficult for those who treat spirits better than tools to an end, Johanna.
Sentimental drivel. You may have stopped my work here, but Navarra City will know its new ruler.
Look, that lantern's dangerous. Why don't we talk about this?
Dangerous to those who fail to realize what can be done with it! Though the professor clearly avoided mentioning his old colleague in exile.
We made every attempt to bring you to reason.
I gave you every chance to join me instead of whining endlessly about your mortality. But I must thank you for returning something dear to me. Lovely to have my hand back. exchanged it with the Venatori for some favors after entering this condition.
Johanna, what have you done?
What you never had the courage to.
Looks like we'll see just how dangerous that lantern is.
Johanna's asleep again.
Tell me why she has no eyes.
Afterwards, Rook.
It's over. Emmrich, still sense anything wrong?
We were successful. Johanna's magic no longer chains the spirits, and the Fade is still.
Great. Okay. But let's talk back at the lighthouse.
At least we freed those spirits from their suffering. Shall we depart?
Let's get back to the lighthouse.
Gladly. Oh, the Song of the Chambers won't have anything on what Johanna's... Perhaps the Waking Scrolls? No. Manfred, have you seen the Fellmarch manuscripts?
You and Manfred need an extra pair of eyes for whatever this is?
I suppose it's time I explained this mess. Johanna Hesenkos was a watcher. She was banished for embracing the darker paths of our art. Forbidden magic, blood sacrifice, nothing is beyond her if it leads to power, recognition, or both.
Sounded like you knew her before all that.
We were friends, once.
I guess it was a shock to see her back there then.
An unexpected reunion. It wasn't always like this. She truly was brilliant. And we got on so well as students. We partnered on papers, rituals, research. Yet even then, Johanna considered the Watcher's oaths quaint. This isn't the first time we've crossed paths since she was exiled, but now I fear she's turned herself partly undead.
She made herself half undead? On purpose?
There are advantages to undeath you may not be familiar with.
I'm good.
You saw Johanna's Lantern of Unwilling Souls. A necromancer could create monstrous undead with that much stolen life.
Hesenkos was yelling a lot about conquering Navarra City.
We must stop her, Rook. Thank you, Manfred. Quite right. The Order's knowledge will see us through.
Hesenkos had been stopped. For now. But she had big plans for Navarra. City conquering, new ruler plans. And while she had some regrets about long-lost friendships, she knew her greatest invention was going to bring down the house.
Hello there. Just admiring how carefully the Fade is woven into this place, as cultivated as a palace garden.
That's old elven stuff for you. Magic everywhere you look. and also where you don't.
I do envy you, Rook.
Really?
A Grey Warden facing down peril in the distant Anderfells and beyond? Not to mention traveling with Varric, the adventures you've already had.
It just kind of seems like my life.
You don't regard anything you've done as singular? Work was always my excuse not to travel, but now that I've joined you, I'm finally exploring outside Navarra's crypts. Ah, speaking of the necropolis.
Yes?
I've been meaning to ask how you'd like your body prepared in the event of your death.
Never given it much thought.
You hadn't? Ah, he's finished the reagent. Please excuse us. Excellent work, Manfred. Do you remember, Rook, when I mentioned another ceremony I must perform at the Memorial Gardens? The time has come. I was hoping you'd accompany me again.
More grave lighting?
No, this would be a more personal visit, whenever you've time. Now, what do you have to say for yourself?
Did I miss something?
Since we're here to gather flowers for the dead, I thought I'd teach Manfred some plant names. But I just caught him attempting to wade into a rose bush.
That must have been frustrating.
He knows he's not supposed to play in the horticulture. Oh, Manfred. Whatever will happen to you if I pass on?
If?
Ah, there's something I'd like to talk about. Do you know what a lich is, Rook?
Doesn't ring a bell.
A lich is a mage transformed into one of the undead while retaining their true, original consciousness. The idea fascinated me when I was younger. For years, I researched and experimented, spoke with spirits and mages. Then, eventually, I found them.
Who?
The Lich Lords of the Grand Necropolis. Necromancers before me who'd transformed themselves into true living dead.
Not everyone gets to meet their idols.
Oh, but I was nervous. The Liches are the great protectors of the necropolis, bulwarks against forces that threaten creation. After years of tests and rituals, they granted me my desire, the right to attempt lichdom.
That's great for a necromancer, right?
It is a singular opportunity.
Good?
Lichdom is an incredible honor. Immortality, prestige, the most hallowed ranks of the Watchers, as well as a chance to be of service past my allotted years. But there are considerations. Come, we have flowers to gather for the dead.
Okay, but I've got questions.
blue creepvine. This will do nicely.
Emmrich, aren't most undead just random spirits inside corpses?
Liches are different. It wouldn't be a spirit acting in my name. My true consciousness would be housed in my departed flesh.
How?
The Order must keep some secrets. Moon blossoms, famed in verse and song.
Smells like perfume. Do liches have a sense of smell?
I've been told that while some of my senses will dull, others will become available. Other than that, I can't say if the flowers would still hold their bloom for me. Lichdom serves a purpose. There are dark things in creation, threats to both our world and the Fade. The Liches of the Necropolis have the insight and the abilities to oppose them.
And you're joining them when?
Certain elements have held me back. There's no ready instructions for Lichdom. The steps must be discovered on one's own over years to be fully understood.
Does the spell to become a lich kill you, or do you have to...
No, mercifully, that falls to another watcher. After my death, my soul will be drawn back into my body instead of moving on to whatever lies beyond.
So, what's holding you back from Lichdom?
Even with all my preparations, there's a chance I could die permanently during the rites. What cowardice! The promise of immortality, an end to all my fears, and the final veil stays my hand.
If you want Lichdom that badly, you have to go for it.
I always thought I'd find the courage when I grew older. Traditionally, candidates for Lichdom face one final sifting of the soul. If they avoid it, you saw my old colleague.
Hezenkos? She's a lich.
A half-lich, though that hasn't diminished her powers. Until I stop her plans, I won't possess the peace of mind for Lichdom. Why don't you select the next flowers, Rook?
Sure. So, what's a half-lich exactly?
Johanna attempted the rites of Lichdom and failed. Stuck in her in-between state, she is supremely dangerous, but can't learn any new magic.
What about the sifting of a soul that Hezenkos avoided?
The spirits of the Necropolis judge whether a candidate is worthy of the power and responsibility of Lichdom.
How'd she become a lich without it?
I shared some knowledge when we...
For a watcher, Hezenkos is pretty harsh on spirits.
We made allowances because of her discoveries. Too many. Spirits are not things to be disposed of.
You really care about them.
They're so... For all she's done, I can't condemn Johanna for attempting Lichdom. That freedom from mortality, that divorce from fear. And of course, time to read all of one's books.
Of course.
But how she's abused her abilities. Are my intentions enough to fare better?
Worrying's a good sign.
We have enough flowers. There's something I'd like to show you. Here we are.
Oh, so these flowers are for...
Yes. If you could place them on the graves, please.
In memory of Rupert and Eleanora Volkaren. They walk eternity hand in hand.
After I became a watcher, I erected a proper shrine to my parents. When I come to talk, I like to think they listen. Well, don't be shy. Introduce yourself.
Rook, it's a pleasure. Do you remember your parents?
Some memories are bright. Others are akin to those dim, early morning dreams one gets sometimes. Lately, I wondered what they'd think of our current course, the choices ahead.
Your lichdom.
What would they have wanted me to be?
I can tell you what I think they'd want you to be.
What's that?
Happy. You could always speak with your folks, couldn't you?
My parents last saw me as a boy. By the time I mastered my corpse whispering, I was a man. If I woke them, there might be a flash of recognition, or... Besides, if I speak to too many other spirits, Manfred might grow jealous.
Can't have that.
He'd be impossible, I agree.
Mana, hello. I assume Vorgoth's not far
We have her, Rook. We have her. We know exactly what she's planning.
The professor asked us to research the artifact that came into the possession of Johanna Hezenkos.
She carries a gloaming lantern.
That bad as it sounds?
They were fashioned in ages past by unscrupulous necromancers. The lanterns steal and concentrate life.
Johanna could use it to leech life from hundreds at a time. An endless source of power.
I hate to say it, but it's sort of clever.
Johanna was never short on cleverness, but we found her.
She has returned to Blackthorn Manor.
Hezenkos intends to hold a soiree.
That can't be her whole plan.
No, but I propose a small group infiltrate Johanna's lair while she's distracted and destroy her lantern.
Let's do it.
Vorgoth and I must return to the necropolis.
Hunt well.
If only we could make Johanna see reason.
You tried before. She seems stubborn.
Perhaps that's why she attained immortality, while I quake on the threshold. If I make my own bid for lichdom... Oh, it's no use pretending this hasn't stirred up that old dread of my own mortality.
You could also be having a normal reaction to facing danger every other day.
No, it shouldn't be this crushing, this prevalent. Johanna was never beset by these sort of fears.
Little fear's healthy. You'll feel better once we crash her lair and destroy that lantern. Promise. So, the plan is basically to sneak around, find Hezenkos's lantern, and smash it. That's quite a crowd over in the manor.
Johanna's gathering. If she's mingling there, we'll be spotted. Fortunately, we have someone who could pass as a servant.
You don't think he'll stand out?
There'll be other undead servants. I'd be surprised if Johanna recognized him. You know, she never truly appreciated Manfred's cleverness. Right, Manfred. You're to find Johanna's guests and help us gather information on where her workshop might be. We'll be watching in case anything occurs.
Something's going to occur.
Once we find and destroy Johanna's lantern, we'll end whatever she's planning. Hopefully before she introduces the lantern to her guests.
There should be enough time for Manfred to blend in as a servant.
Let's find a place inside to observe him, quietly.
Right. Let's find another way in.
Johanna's last guests must already be in attendance.
There's a lot of people here. Hezenkos must be planning to drain their souls with her lantern.
What's she gonna do with them?
Raise more undead, I'd wager.
Sounds like the party's in that main hall where we confronted Hezenkos.
Perfect. We can watch Manfred discreetly from the balconies.
And see if Hezenkos has that lantern on her.
There's Manfred. And Johanna.
But no lantern.
Now, you were saying about a shrine in the manor.
Yes, a shrine revealed by a spectral tome, which, as an expert, I could read if our host ever lets me into the library.
An ancestral shrine? I could question the deceased there about the location of Johanna's lantern.
Well, if the book can lead us to the shrine, let's hit the library.
I'm just waiting for our hosts to grinden up.
The library's to the east, right? Where we closed Hezenkos' portal into the Fade.
Right. But why come all the way back here?
Johanna must have a workshop hidden here. Likely where she's prepared whatever she plans to empower with this lantern.
Undead, watch out!
Johanna's creatures, we must deal with them quickly. I'd expected Johanna to post more guards.
Maybe she didn't want to scare her guests. Let's see if we can find that book pointing to the ancestral shrine. Nothing about a shrine here.
And what's a romance doing under geography?
This isn't it?
Oh, a handsomely bound volume. But no.
about this? That book just snarled at me.
Ah, there's our spectral tome. Well done.
It's not opening.
One must be delicate. That guest of Johanna's claimed to be an expert in spectral literature.
And was interested in the shrine. Let's have Manfred hand him the book, see what he says. Waiting for us. Manfred, take this tome to the man asking about the shrine, please.
Don't worry. We'll watch from the balcony.
What's this? The Spectral Guide to Blackthorn Manor? There now. I only want to look up one thing. Ah, there is an ancestral shrine in the northwest wing.
Perfect. Let's go to the shrine.
Yes, the deceased there should be most helpful in finding Johanna's lantern. This way to the shrine.
I'd love to go to this kind of party. Not one with Hezenkos exactly, but with other mages. They're probably swapping all kinds of theories.
These gatherings aren't always so academically minded, Bellara. Though I did overhear a lecturer in mathematics arguing about a new form of geometry with the bursar from Cumberland.
The shrine's locked.
We must find a...
Is this a key to the shrine?
Excellent, Manfred. Oh my. A body from the House of the Verheims, prepared during the Storm Age.
We can come back for it after.
Excellent idea.
Time to find Hezenkos. He's all yours, Emmrich.
By flame and seal, by light and flood, open your eyes once more.
Who dares disturb?
Friends to the dead.
Friends, this one was abandoned, lost.
Emmrich, it's getting noisy.
He's unusually obstinate. Speak! Where is Hezenkos?
Prove yourselves. What claim have you to the deceased? A willing dead companion. This one concedes. Hezenkos makes a thing that should not be. Red tapestry. Look there.
Rook, did you hear that? Manfred just...
I know. Also, we should move.
Oh, he can talk. Manfred, say something else. Come now, you just spoke.
We have to go.
Yes, yes.
More undead.
Nice work. You're on the right track.
Alright, use that red tapestry.
This wall looks... Ha! Secret door.
Manfred, could you please squeeze through and open the door from the other side? Aha! I knew I didn't imagine him speaking.
How can Manfred talk now?
He began as a wisp that embodied what most wisps do, curiosity. I knew he was learning quickly outside the necropolis, but this level of complexity is remarkable.
That's incredible, I think.
Isn't it? He's so precocious. Good work, Manfred.
Hope this leads to where Hezenkos is keeping that lantern.
I can only imagine what she's planning to use it for. This must lead to Johanna's workshop.
What's that through the wall?
Oh my word!
Wow, it's... How did she do this?
Johanna, even past it, can't control something massive.
That glow on the skeleton up there. That's Hezenkos' lantern.
He's going to use the life stored in it to reanimate that monstrosity. Quickly, we must reach the lantern.
This is a revenge list.
Johanna was never one to refuse a long, complex bunch.
People from the party. You.
Unsurprising.
Manfred.
How dare she?
Undead.
You may as well wait for the fuel in a bonfire.
Unbelievable! Johanna's stolen a chamber from the Grand Necropolis and transposed it under Blackthorn Manor.
I'd say that should be impossible, but... Well, we've been to Arlington.
I think I can't sense your content, lackey, sneaking about.
Oh, I wish Manfred had stayed above.
It'll be fine. We'll handle this. That ladder?
Thank you, Manfred. Now find somewhere safe.
There's the lantern. You're gonna free the spirits inside?
We must, before we can destroy it.
Like back when you were freeing those spirits Hezen got trapped in the manor. That took a lot out of you.
I must try, Rook.
Emmrich!
There are too many trapped spirits! I'm sorry. I can't. Another lash of power might end me.
What's that, Valkarin? Afraid to chance death for your precious spirits? For all your fine words on the subject, only I had the courage to risk my life for our art.
I've seen Emmrich face worse than you.
I'm not the one so paralyzed by fear I couldn't seize immortality.
Johanna! Listen to me! You're right. I've never overcome fear of that final dark. I miss having a friend that could.
Yes. Always the idealist.
I'm sorry Lichdom failed you. I swear I would have helped you had you come to me. But puppeting this creature...
Puppet? Puppet? Do you think I'm staying a failed lich? I won't command my greatest creation! I will become it! Scoffing colleagues, interfering Templars, inept rivals, you all have a place in my heart. And tonight you will fuel my ascension at the cost of your miserable lives.
Move!
You think you can stop me? Once I get rid of you, I will learn with my greatest work and conquer this city!
Emmrich, can she do that?
Yes! She's attempting full possession with the life of the people here.
We need to stop Hezenkos long enough to destroy that lantern.
With that much life inside it, the backlash could...
We don't have a choice.
Once I destroy you wretches, my union with my creation will be complete! Aren't you resistant? Fine! I'll go down there myself!
About time.
Silence! It's touching that you thought your new friends died, Valkarin. I'll be sure to bury you all in the same tomb!
This isn't working. We can't break the lantern.
You think I'd leave myself vulnerable to you? Enough playing! Your pointless lives will fuel my triumph!
Amplified innervation!
She's draining life from us. We must find shelter.
Right. You can't free the spirits in that lantern.
It might kill me and not even work. No living thing can approach it and... Manfred! Come back!
little!
Manfred!
Manfred knew you could do this. So do I.
By the spirits bound here, night and shadow, light and blood.
What are you doing?
Let your chains loosen. Let the fade draw close.
You'll never succeed, you old fool!
I release you to the air.
No! You small-minded!
Emmrich, how's Manfred holding together?
We must go to the necropolis. His body could only take so much. But I underestimated him, Rook. What bravery in the heart of the dead. And how he grew. Manfred disobeyed me beautifully. He was his own soul at the end.
Can you bring him back?
I will ask.
Emmrich Volkaren. You were not expected so soon.
Did it just get colder?
You're in no danger, Rook. He's come to hear my plea. My lord, I come regarding Manfred, my fallen companion.
Yes, there are ways to return his spirit. But should you do this, Lichdom falls from your grasp.
What? Why?
Lichdom is long. If I'm to stand outside death, I must make peace with others passing through it.
What would we otherwise become? How many exceptions till tyranny? Revive him and remain mortal. Or let him slumber and join us.
Emmrich.
Manfred chose to help us. Am I too weak to accept his well-earned rest? I yearn for Lichdom, Rook. But leap into something greater, that everlasting light. Do I revive him and live out my days? Or do I honor death by letting him rest and protect this world through immortality?
Emmrich, Lichdom is your life's work. Your dream.
I imagined I knew its price. If I haven't even the strength to accept Manfred's sacrifice, I would outlive you all, Rook.
Would you still remember us?
Always. Kept alive in Lichdom's immortal memory. Death's swift touch, held back for all time.
If you really want to go beyond death, I think you have what you need to let all of us rest.
And peace shall follow. You're right. After I make my farewells, I will undergo the last rites of Lichdom. And Rook, thank you.
Emmrich probably has to prepare before becoming a Lich. I should see how he's doing. Why is it so cold in...
Greetings.
Rook, you remember Vorgoth? We were discussing some preparations for my lichdom.
I shall be with you until the end.
Collecting your thoughts before the big day?
Mm-hmm.
Lots of them?
I've so much to do. Crafting a glamour, for example. After lichdom, I'll need an illusion of my mortal appearance for polite company.
Good call.
I've told Harding about the ritual. I'll inform the others afterwards. Rook, would you accompany me during the final rites as witness to my lichdom?
Despite my feelings on necromancy, I did say, go be a lich.
Thank you. When you have time, I'll send word to the necropolis.
We have found new hauntings. They must be dealt with.
What's this lichdom rite actually like?
I must pass through the gates and meet the oldest forces in the necropolis. A final appraisal of my soul.
Hail the living! Emmrich Volkarin and his chosen witness, Rook, the challenger who has rebuked the cruel elven gods.
Collect yourselves for the right.
I'm afraid this is as far as you're permitted. If anything should perchance go wrong, what things we've already seen. Thank you for taking me on, Rook.
There's not another necromancer I'd rather have by my side.
Truly?
Truly. Good luck, Emmrich.
I am come to be judged by the dead.
Emmrich?
I see so much more clearly now. The deeper eddies of the Fade. The pulse of the necropolis. I have been through blood and darkness, and I have emerged into light.
You look so happy, Emmrich.
I am gifted with an existence few have even dreamed of. All thanks to a friend who helped me find a clear and steady heart. Thank you for coming, everyone. Please, bear with me. This will be rather difficult to explain. I may appear the same as always, as I stand before you, but I've recently undergone a ritual that...
I thought you'd have a skull face. Like a skeleton.
It must be his glamour. It's really something, Professor. I can't sense you're a lich at all.
Harding!
Oh, no. Was becoming a lich a secret?
So, the lich stuff is true, and you crossed that line.
It's been a long day. If you already know about the lich stuff, maybe we should talk later.
Oh, Harding only told us some of it.
I'm really sorry, Emmrich.
I'm not angry. I'm only disappointed.
No. That's worse.
Just tell me you'll keep your skin on.
That's not how it...
I should take notes.
Look, why don't we just start from the beginning?
Are you satisfied? Yes, I have entered lichdom, and I am not an abomination, or a demon, or a disconsolate spirit. I have become something more. And yet I am still fully possessed of myself.
So you are a skeleton. Got it.
I wouldn't have helped Emmrich if I didn't trust him to...
Thank you, Rook. But please, allow me. I'd like to think some of us have become friends. I value that more than you might know. But I am changed, and I would never cause you distress by staying where I'm no longer welcomed.
You're no weirder than you were before.
You're still you, no matter what you look like.
You all... really?
I think you'll be fine.
Okay, now, question time.
So many more spirits here than even I suspected when I was alive.